There's news that I find good right now when it comes to ZBIC, and let me explain why, even though nothing I say is financial advice. Now, when it comes to the idea of 10 cents, when it comes to ZBCN, I'm going to talk about that later, and I still have that on my mind, but I want to talk about this news first real quick because not too long ago, ZBIC announced that they partnered with Turnkey to power wallet APIs in their integrations with major payroll systems. Why do I think it's a major victory? It's because we all know ZBIC is heavily focused on payrolls, so I think this kind of solidifies further, right? Its kind of presence within that sector. Not to mention as well, when I take a look at it, supposedly, through Turnkey's embedded wallet infrastructure, employees can seamlessly receive salaries and stablecoins like USDC directly inside their payroll dashboard. So again, I do like what ZBIC is doing overall in the grand scheme of things. And I think that really this is just kind of scratching the surface of what ZBIC is really doing, because even though we know ZBIC is focused on payrolls, it's also focused on AI-based PayFi, it's also focused on payments, focused on global trade and finance, it's focused on RWAs, which stands for real-world assets, and it's also even focused on the ZBIC cards as well. So I like what I'm seeing when it comes to ZBIC, and I think this right here kind of solidifies more so of its presence in terms of its, I would arguably say, solid fundamentals, because I feel like it's being treated seriously and not just something that is being taken just for fun, right? Because some other projects out there feel like that, but this doesn't feel like that to me. Not to mention ZBIC is still working, supposedly, right, on the ISO 20022 compliance. So if they could do that, man, I would be such a major victory, and I'm still waiting for that. But in the grand scheme of things, why is 10 cents still on my mind when it comes to ZBIC? It's because I kind of view this as somewhat a miniature version of Ripple and Stellar, but then having that Solana aspect. I mean, quite a while back ago, I saw that ZBCN was top 10 in terms of utility when it comes to Solana. So I kind of like it, right? If I like Ripple, if I like Stellar, why wouldn't I maybe believe, I'm not speaking on anyone's behalf, by the way, but just in my mindset, why wouldn't I maybe not look into a project that is kind of similar to that, but then having a Solana aspect? This is my point of view. Solana Ventures, coincidentally, actually happens to be one of the backers when it comes to ZBIC, so I find that very impressive. I mean, Solana doesn't need this, right? I mean, Solana's massive as it is, but I just kind of find that as pretty impressive, actually, in the grand scheme of things. Now, I also want to take a look at, what ZBIC did with Circle, which is the creator of USDC, the stablecoin, right? Circle is one of the early backers when it comes to ZBIC, and they supposedly hold a pretty big amount of ZBCN, so I like the direction in which ZBIC seems to be heading, but only time will tell. And sometimes people like to say, okay, why are you even still thinking about 10 cents? Look at the price and all this type of stuff is not doing the best. But to me, when I take a look at 10 cents, what I don't find is that the market cap at that point seems like too ridiculous to me. Now, if the market cap needed at that point for whatever reason was like, 50 billion or something like that, then that's kind of crazy to me at least. But then when I take a look at CBC and at the idea of maybe 10 cents, market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around $9 billion, which is around a 22x from here. I mean, when I saw Shiba Inu reach around a $40 billion market cap back in 2021, that was pretty impressive. But like, again, that's give or take around 30 billion more than this. Like, I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be, super popular or something like that, this project, but the market cap at that point doesn't seem that ridiculous. And also, I've been seeing kind of this shift and kind of a little bit of a demand, really, for projects that are beyond Ripple and Stellar, or should I say beyond XRP and XLM, but with a way lower market cap. And when I take a look at something like ZBCN, market cap is just way lower, going to around a $9 billion market cap, is around a 22x from here. I mean, if we take a look at just, let's say, the idea of XLM, right, which XLM currently market cap is around 12 billion, and don't get me wrong, I still believe in XLM, but then XLM doing like, let's say, a 20x from here, the market cap's going to be like over 200 billion at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like, to me, ZBCN, even though I'm not telling them to do anything, I still want to believe in it because just the lower market cap, the Solana aspect, and also kind of what it's doing, I just like the overall vibe here. And sometimes people like to say, okay, like, when do you think it's all going to happen? Well, to me, it's impossible to know the perfect time if it ever even does. But there's one thing I can control, though, and I think that's myself. So I'm just going to be dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting and staying patient because whenever this altcoin season, let's say, if it ever even really does happen during this cycle, whenever the time frame is, I just want to be holding, waiting, staying patient, and just preparing for a moment in time it does do something, as opposed to not preparing. This is the way I take a look at it. So I'd rather be prepared than not, but I'm not telling them to do anything, but this is just what I'm doing personally, and I'm just dollar cost averaging to ZBCN and just waiting. That's pretty much it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.